Hare Krishna. So we have started 13th chapter, which is titled as The Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness. And the start of the chapter is the question posted by Arjuna, that can you please explain these 5 aspects? And what is he asking? What are the 5 aspects that he is talking about? First, Prakriti, the nature; Purusha, the enjoyer; Kshetra, the field; Kshetrajna, the knower of the field; then Jnana, that is knowledge; and Gyeya, that is object of knowledge. So these 6 things or 6 aspects Arjuna is asking Krishna to describe. And Krishna has already started describing. So in Shloka number 2, we saw that Krishna spoke about what is Kshetra and what is Kshetrajna. Now he continues the same theme and he's going to speak about Kshetrajna more and also speak about what is Jnana or knowledge. So let's see these descriptions in Shloka number 3. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajnayo jnanam yattadjnanam matam mama. So here Krishna is saying, O Bharata, O Skyan of Bharat, Kshetrajnam cha api mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu. So here he is saying that you should understand what? That I am also the Kshetrajna. I am also the Kshetrajna, that is knower of one body. No, he says sarva kshetreshu bharata, in all the bodies. In all the bodies. And then he is saying that kshetra kshetrajnayo jnanam yattad jnanam. To understand this body and its knower is called the knowledge. And then Krishna says that mama matam, this is what is my opinion. So the previous shloka Krishna spoke about the body being the kshetra and the individual soul as kshetrajna. And now Lord is adding one more point to Kshetrajna, where he is saying that I am also Kshetrajna in all the bodies which exist. So let's try to understand this, and also the knowledge aspect. Understanding the field and the knower of the field is actually the knowledge. That's what Krishna is saying here. So let's try to understand these technical aspects, those are given here. While discussing the subject of the body and the knower of the body, the soul and super soul, we shall find 3 different topics of study: the Lord, the living entity and matter. So whenever we are talking about the field and the knower of the field, these 3 important aspects will come. Soul, individual soul, that is all of us; super soul or Paramatma, that is Krishna; and the matter that we can see. And the matter, even the subtle body and the gross body, both are categorized as matter only. Now here it is said, in every field of activities, in everybody there are two souls, the individual soul and the super soul. So each and every body that we see around has 2 souls. One is individual soul, that is all of us, and super soul, that is Paramatma. So here we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but his plenary portion is Paramatma, Kshirodakshay Vishnu. We have discussed elaborately previously in the previous videos. So Krishna, with authority, he is saying that I am the knower of all the bodies. One who studies the subject matter of the field of activity and the knower of the field very minutely in terms of Bhagavad-gita can attain to knowledge. Because knowledge is this, that is the Kshetra and Kshetrajna, the difference between the 2. And the difference between the 2 Kshetrajnas, that is individual soul and super soul. This is knowledge. Here the Lord is, here it is very nicely given by Srila Prabhupada. The individual may be the knower of his own body, but he is not in knowledge of other bodies. Now this is a nice concept that we need to understand. See, we are there in this body. We are spirit soul and we are not this body. We are just residing in this body like we we are there in a house. So we and the house, they are not the same. We stay in the house. Similarly, we and this body are not same. We stay in the body. Now, here we understand that the individual soul is present in the body. So individual soul knows that particular body, whatever is happening. And what about the super soul, Paramatma? So same Paramatma is present in each and every body that we can see here. Each and every body. So individual soul is knower of one body, whereas the super soul or Paramatma is the knower of all the bodies. So individual soul is called as knower, and the super soul is called as the super knower. So in this way we understand the difference between the two. There is a wide difference between the individual soul and the super soul. And a very nice example is given from Srila Prabhupada's purport, that citizen in the kingdom, he will just know a patch of land which belongs to him. But when it comes to the king, he knows about his own palace and he also knows about the entire kingdom. So Lord is like that, like a king. So when it comes to an individual soul, he might be proprietor of something, but Lord is a proprietor of everything that exists, like the king is the proprietor of the entire kingdom. So these are some of the very important logical understanding difference between the individual soul and the super soul. Here it's very nicely given that this body is called Kshetra, and within it dwells the owner of the body and the Supreme Lord, who knows both the body and the owner of the body. Therefore he is called the knower of all fields. Now this is a nice thing to understand. We know the body, and the super soul, he knows us and he knows the body. So he is the super knower. The perfect, the supreme knower, perfect knowledge of the constitution of the body, constitution of the individual soul, and the constitution of the super soul is known in terms of Vedic literature as Jnana. One has to understand the position of Prakriti, Purusha and Ishvara, who dominates or controls the nature and the individual soul. One should not confuse the painter, the painting and the easel. So again, a very important point that is made here. What is knowledge? Knowledge is to understand about the matter or Prakriti, material nature, the Atma or Jivatma or the super soul, the individual soul, and Paramatma, the super soul. So Prakriti, Jivatma, Paramatma. That is material nature, individual soul and super soul. Now there is no question of mixing between the three. They are separate, distinct. Like the painting, the painter and the easel. They are separate. There is no question of mixing. So this is the knowledge to understand that how these are distinct and there is no question of mixing. So Prakriti is distinct. Matter is completely distinct. Individual soul has its own identity and super soul has its own identity. So there is no question of merging anything here. So that's what is the point that is made. Siddhantically, tattvataha, it is proved that all three are different, distinct. So this is what we need to understand here. Now this material world, which is field of activities, is nature and the enjoyer of nature, is the living entity, and above them both is the supreme controller, the personality of Godhead. So we have Prakriti, we have the Jivatma, that is individual soul, material nature, individual soul, and both of them they are controlled by Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita, Ishvara sarva bhutanam riddhesha arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. So Krishna is saying that I am there in each and every body as super soul, as Paramatma. And what did I do? I control everyone. They are under my control. This is about the individual soul. And again Krishna says in another shloka, Maya dhakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam hetunanena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. So here Krishna is saying, Maya dhakshena prakriti. Prakriti is under my control. She works under my control. So both the Prakriti and Jivatma are controlled by the super soul, Paramatma or Lord Shri Krishna. Krishna explicitly says here that real knowledge is to know that the super soul is the controller of both the field of activities and the finite enjoyer. So this is now very clear to all of us about what is knowledge, what is field of activity, and who are the two knower of the fields of activities. Now, after speaking about this, now the Lord is going to speak about the field exclusively, the field of activity exclusively. He's going to talk about the details of composition and transformation of the field of activity. Now let's see this technical verse that is coming up in the next video. Hare Krishna.